What's up, little baby? Look, I see you. Little baby got here early. Um, my bad. Look, I thought I scheduled for 8:05, but stuff happens sometimes. It don't always be my fault. This time StreamYard acting a little weird, but man, uh, if you have been on the Facebook streets today, especially shout out to the Florida region, FAMU's National Alumni Association, they have been showing pretty much live video or updates if you are not in Frisco, Texas. So some good questions. I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of like that kid from Meet the Robinsons right now, waiting on something amazing to happen. I also waiting on something controversial. Like I'm just gonna be honest. Like we seen some people throw some little jabs in there. I'm gonna let that let that stay what it is. What's up, Marvin? But man, on Fangs up, looks like we got our wheels up. Did we get our quarterback of the future for the third time? Just asking for a friend. Might be me. Y'all already know what's up. It's about to be Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does!
And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, Rattlers. Look like y'all got y'all Jett. We will, allude to that in a little bit. Got a little commitment on the football side. Might be a major commitment. You never know. But if you paying attention, the events over in Texas are pretty interesting. Good conversation. I'm waiting on it to get a little tight though. Like everybody act like they got some sense right now. I'm just saying though. Look, you not wrong. That's gonna be a tight quarterback room. But first, look, make sure you pay attention to the track team. We might have some people going to Oregon the way it's looking. Let's hope. If you're in the Jacksonville area, that's where they at. I think we got 3 or 4 over there right now. So it's pretty cool right now. Like, look, I'm with you. Cozy grinding. I don't have a graphic ready, but Charlie's grinding too. I saw you went out there and slid that offer for a 6'10" forward, maybe center. Okay. I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it. Also, if you are so inclined, Rattler Boosters, they did help pay for some of the training. They've made donations for multiple teams. They still out there. And if you do sign up, I was told the membership rolls over to next year. So again, that ain't me. That ain't my policy. But I normally tell people save your money so that way you don't have no problems because you ain't gonna get nothing to the 25 year anyway. So if you get something for 24, don't know where I put my tag. It's back there somewhere. But yeah, you're not getting anything special. Just getting 25 stuff, just paying the money early. So also check out St. Clair Moraine. We are spending a lot of our time talking about that BCU FSU baseball game. So if y'all don't know, BCU's in Tallahassee to take on Florida State. How crazy is this? Like, if you're a FAMU fan, I know you feel some type of way. We almost had FAMU FSU baseball matchup, but we let them off the hook. Dang. Like, just saying. It was a good show for ONG Strike Zone, though. So if you caught ONG last night, you got some of the rationale behind that. I appreciated it. Yeah, I know, especially, it's that time of year where things get a little slow. News isn't as fast as it always is. But what we do get, we got some game times. Florida Classic, 4 p.m. I'm just going to say this in a nice way. Put their behinds in the sun and make them wear blue. I'm petty. I want to win. By hook or crook. Look, throw Howard in the sun. I'm just saying. It's 4:00 kick. I would rather it be 6. I ain't gonna lie to you, just for the weather and the hot. But a 4:00 kickoff, it's gonna be an interesting thing. Mostly people gonna be in the suites anyway. Marvin said he got his ticket. I ain't mad at that, dog. Like I ain't gonna hold you. I am seriously thinking about the bright line for that one. Hit the bright line. I think I'd already scheduled something. If my plan go right, rub my chin, so I'm scheming. We'll be there, and we've been the last couple ones when FAMU's been there. We did not go last year. I was actually in Tallahassee for another one, so probably gonna do the bright line. Since you're Florida Rattlers, let's make that a thing. Ride the train, get a train car. We all ride together. So, other time we got FAU. That's a 6:00 kick. That's what I wanted. Like, because you ain't getting no rest, no break from the sun. 6:00 down in Boca. Oh, isn't that crazy? Like that whole, BMF song, Rick Ross, Big Meech, and Larry Hoover. They all free. That's crazy. Wild times we live in. Anywho's, I might have been the only person who caught that. If you're a Rick Ross fan, you know. If not, that went over your head. But FAU, 6:00 kick, almost by the ocean. That might be some beautiful weather. 6:00 by the halftime might be a beautiful situation. I'm gonna just leave that there. Like, I'm just gonna put that there. Now, what I will say, FSU dropped some of their game times too. So, I think it was EA to ask. We're gonna start a season preview soon. My questions are gonna be, and I know AD was talking about it. We're gonna invite her back on the show. What these game times looking like? That's got to be question number one if you're a FAMU fan. Like, how many times are both schools playing pretty much at the same time? Like, I'm just asking for a friend. Like, we know date-wise, it's not too bad, but then time-wise. Like, I'll be honest with you. It's almost worse when you're going in to Bragg and FSU, folks are leaving. To me, if everybody going at the same time, it sucks, but it's worse when you got the traffic going both ways, because it's hard to reverse that much traffic going each direction. So that's just my personal opinion. So I want to see what that looks like, though. Now, the topic of the day, though, we got another quarterback. And honestly, I don't know who quarterback one's going to be at this point. Like, this is the third time we just sat up there and been like, oh, we got a quarterback and we're going to win the SWAC. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I told you Jett was probably that guy. A couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, I'd be surprised if he doesn't consider FAMU, but we got him. Like, his football story is pretty interesting. And I'm looking back through the notes, so excuse me for not looking like this way. But just looking back through the show notes here, Long Beach City College. They say he played 8-on-8 ball, went JUCO partially due to an injury. If he can produce, I'm just going to leave it like that. Like, if he can pick up the offense, it's two things that I have questions about. One, can he pick up the offense? But two, can he put the ball in the right place? I'm not even going to say is the person accurate. We've had accurate quarterbacks who couldn't throw the ball to the right person. Like, accuracy isn't always, doesn't correlate to throwing the ball to the right person. Accuracy is throwing the ball where you want to go. Like, and it being like catchable. Like, oh, it's a very catchable ball. can he get the ball to the guys that are having snakes on the side of the helmet? Can't just say orange or green. But just go ask the question, because Kev said it best. This is a loaded quarterback room. Like, and look, let y'all tell it. He the next Musa. Like, for better or worse. Like, so we're gonna see. It's gonna be interesting. Like, and this is what I'm saying, Marvin. Decision making is key. Like, if FAMU can consistently get the quarterback to put the ball in the right place, you're gonna win the SWAC. I mean, that could be hyperbolic to say right now, but at the same point, it kind of is what it is. Like, you seeing that. Like, other thing, women's basketball, ONG did a great job going through all those players. You still got a roster that's lacking. Well, it's getting better. Like, I'm cool with that. So, for me, right now, football-wise, I'm solid. Now, I do have some questions, though. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the reports where the SEC and these other schools are, even your president is trying to get a handle on NIL. These players are making too much money. It's out of control. Can we be honest? It's not the players that are the problem. It's the adults. The adults don't know how to act. Like, there's no discipline here. So how do you expect these kids to know how to act when the adults are the problem? You got adults that are literally writing checks for very large amounts to secure the best talent to come to their teams. And the St. Clair asked the question, so, I got to give him credit. How do you, can you put the genie back in the bottle? The answer is yes. But in order to do that, you're going to have to make NCAA football a salary cap sport. Like, you may not want to hear that. You may not want to do that. But that's what you got to do. I mean, I don't. McDonald's working at the register, flipping fries. We all, we know the joke from McDowell's. Started with lettuce. Now you're making the big bucks, right? It's a salary cap there. Like, at your job where you work at, there's a salary cap. And once you hit that salary cap, you either look for a new job or you max out. You just ride it out. Same thing with college football. If you're going to try to create something that is sustainable, you're going to have to put a salary cap in college football to control the adults. It's not about just controlling the kids. Because what happens is, and this is just, again, this is how it's going to have to work, my personal opinion. Just because it's my opinion don't make it right. But in order to make this work, you're going to have to set up a salary cap that follows the mechanisms and the methods you already have. What a lot of us, not you, what we don't think about, college football already has a salary cap. It's called a scholarship limit. The FBS schools like the University of Florida, Florida State, Miami, University of Kentucky, they have a higher salary cap than FAMU on face value because they're able to offer more scholarships. That's just is what it is. Then you go to the second level where FAMU, Stetson, Princeton, Harvard, North Dakota State. That's another salary cap level. But instead of saying you're limited based on how much you can pay the players, you're limited based on how many scholarships you can give out. And then it goes on down the line. Division II, Division III. You have a salary cap. It's just not called a salary cap. It's called a scholarship limit. So in this case, you're limiting how much money the schools can spend on scholarships. Like, and Marvin says players deserve to be paid, but the Wild West needs a share. This has gotten out of control. Too many portal windows and limits the movement. Exactly. Like, I think that's the other piece. Like, I think there should be a football czar. I don't know why we've chosen that to be like the word for like the boss. Like I'll just say it. EA says, so let me ask you this. If you implement a salary cap, will it also include coaches? If not, kick rocks. I'm fine with it. But I think if we're being honest, much like the NFL, the highest paid players make more than the coaches. I mean, just don't put that out there. Like, eventually, in a salary cap model, and I can't claim that for myself. I got that from Bud Elliott. So, give him credit. I know I cite my sources. I forget what episode he was talking about. But somebody brought that similar question, so I was already ready for it. But the talent is worth more than the coach. Period. Like, and if the talent is worth more than the coach, what you're seeing happen now is going to continue to happen. Wherein coaches like look across the street, Mike Norvell, are going to give money back to the university so they can pay the players. Because it makes no sense for you, the university, the program, the whatever entity, to pay me, the coach, $50 million and spend $50 million on my roster. Because you're going to pay me 50, we dishing out 100. But then on the flip side of that, what about the schools that are like, and the coaches that are saying, much like what Coach Crary said when he was here at FAMU on ONG, I'll take the pay cut. We have the same cap limit at 100. Cool. Pay me 30. Pay the athletes 70. Not per player, but you get the idea. All of a sudden, the person who's paying 70 with the same scholarship limit and salary cap limit is naturally going to have a better roster because you can afford to pay them more. The Jimmies and the Joes are more important than the X's and O's. We know that. So naturally, I would say I don't care what the limit is for coaches. I think a market is going to determine that you're going to naturally pay coaches less than the players. So I don't know if you need to cap it as much as you set them up with a hard cap and say maybe coaches and players included. This is the cap. Just saying. I mean, but it's not a bad question. Like, and the SWAC ain't paying nobody bigger than Division One. No. I mean, Colsey's making like what, 250? Like, I don't know how much we're paying in NIL now, but let's call a spade a spade. If you're offering 50, not even 100, you don't even have to do that. 10 full ride scholarships. The athletes are already being paid more than the coach. I mean, that don't sound right because we don't see the tangible funds, but like that's what I heard. I heard that boy was making plenty money. So I think we're already seeing it though. You're seeing some of these kids are already there. So but to keep it there, I think for the FBS level, you got to set a hard cap. And you can set it based on position. Either that or what you're already seeing these college teams do is have a general manager. And that's literally the athletic director takes care of the athletics. Your general manager, they're with finance. They may help with recruiting and talent acquisition. But if you start to think about it, especially in college football, it's minor leagues. It is. like I've been saying this for years, but if you think about this, it should. I don't. I don't think the NFL model is the perfect model, but I think it's the easiest model for you to utilize. And what happens is you use something similar. I would even maybe go as far as looking at, excuse me, maybe a NHL or a NBA who have actual developmental leagues. I mean, let's be honest, the NFL, they don't pay for a developmental league because they get it for free. Like, why would I pay you to have this developmental league when I get NCAA football for free? I got the Canadian Football League for free. I get the UFL and AFL. You literally have like 6 or 7 football leagues. Like, I can list off 2 NFL teams right now that I'm like, oh yeah, that's my team. Jacksonville Sharks. No, that's what I rock with them. When Orlando had the Guardians, I was cheering for them. Like, yeah, Tampa Bay Bandits. Here and there. We don't have those anymore. But I'm speaking about P4, P5, making great money. We just saw a kid die from injuries last year and get nothing. Yeah. This is going to be real callous. And I'm pretty sure you play football too, EA. We know what it is. Like, I don't know if everybody's coach is like mine, but David Wilson at Lincoln High School, when you walked in that field freshman year, he would tell you in the nicest way and sometimes not nicest way, if you do this the wrong way, you could hurt yourself. And if you can die out here. So, that's not that to me doesn't make you tougher, but it does makes it real when a man tells you straight up. So I do feel bad for that kind of situation though. But I do think for the sake of the sport, you're going to have to establish a salary cap, because what we've seen is that the adults cannot be trusted. And because the adults cannot be trusted, lack discipline, and much to what Marvin pointed out with the transfer portal and all these different things, all of a sudden, there's no incentive to stay. And what you're eventually going to create is college basketball. Nobody wants college basketball. I can't tell you who's on the teams. Like, honestly, for the FAMU basketball team, I can't tell you on top of heads on that team. I can't. And I'm doing FAMU stuff every couple of days. You probably can't tell who's on most teams. And even if you are not a casual fan, the way this transfer portal is set up, it makes it very hard to follow the games and follow the sport. It also makes it more difficult to really develop and build programs. So I think that's where you're going to see a salary cap. And again, the cap should be set based on the level of play you're playing at. And unfortunately, you're going to see some teams drop sports. We've already seen that. I mean, we're not just talking about like your Division III schools. Look at some of these FBS schools who have said they've cut in tennis. Like, this isn't FAMU's not the only school that's cut sports and said, no, we're not adding that back. There are schools in the SEC that have cut Division I sports. I know swimming has been one of them. I saw tennis is another one. These teams are saying, we can't afford this. And the schools are saying it because TV money is not infinite. Not when everybody cutting the cord. And I don't know about you. We cut the cord. And we still got the apps. But if you got 4-letter plus, it ain't the same as 4 letters. That trash. I ain't gonna hold you. 4 letters plus is garbage compared to the real thing. Like, you get a few games, but you start looking like Max is getting rid of, gonna lose the NBA pretty much because they got TNT stuff. Like, it's gonna be kind of tough out there. Even UConn's and Duke's programs are changing year to year with basketball. Exactly. Like, my other team, University of Kentucky, I cannot tell you who's on that basketball team. I honestly, after Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero left, I literally just watch them because it's a jersey. Like, I'm not passionate about it anymore because I don't know the players. Like, I'm a huge FSU fan. I cannot tell you who's on the basketball team. I know the quarterback. He's there. I had to bite my tongue. That boy's throwing some ducks. Woo. Never mind. He was. Like, I think the first thing, they're going to do the salary cap. I foresee that coming. I also foresee a much smaller transfer portal window. It's going to be something where it's like, and you're going to have to make that concession, like either 2 or maybe 3 times a year, transfer portal window, and have it set up to where we know you're trying to protect your eligibility, but quitting midseason to do it, not a good look. Like, we saw what that did to FAMU. Just as if we're personalizing it, and FAMU's not the only school that's happened to. So if we're being honest about this and what this is going to become, you're gonna have to find ways to keep the fan base. We see where is the NCAA going to stay like it is? Is it going to change? If the NCAA loses schools like those that are in the SEC and the Big Ten, does that make schools like FAMU and the SWAC more important? Because how many millions of dollars does the NCAA lose by losing that level of college football versus what kind of situation are they going to put in place to make football a viable option, but still have eyeballs? Like, it's no shock that those teams are looking to leave, but it just becomes one of those things that the finances and the business are gonna start having to make choices for you. Like, at least that's just for me. Like, just kind of looking at it, seeing where we are, and just looking at FAMU. Did y'all catch that NAA meeting today? And in the meeting, one of the guys literally sitting up there, he spent about an hour just saying we need more money. And saying, he said it in a very nice way, but under this current president, we haven't made as much money as we did under Larry. He said it, I didn't. I ain't being political. I'm just one of those people, I pay attention. I was listening. It's like, yeah, our numbers are dropping. Our income has dropped. Of course. You had somebody who was a really good fundraiser. You bring somebody in who's a placeholder. So, like, how you going to raise funds? Like, so now, in all these different things, I'm just saying. Oh, Mike, go check on the Facebook, doc. Let me see if I can find it right fast. I know the Florida region did it. Y'all know me. I argue with data. But yeah, there's a couple meetings today that they had for the one in Texas, for the event in Texas. Dang it. Let's see, Florida region. There we go. So the Florida region, great page to follow. I no longer do one of the other pages. I had to cut some things out, Mike. Oh, my kid's going to high school next year, man. So let's see if I can get the. There we go. Sorry, I know this ain't great podcasting, but here we go. Control V. There you go. So if it'll post, We'll see. There you go. So that is a link if you are so inclined. They do have a couple meetings on there that you can watch. But again, when they're telling you that they need more money, and you're seeing where really the SEC and the Big Ten are telling you they don't need more, they want more. And they are doing everything to professionalize themselves. You as a non-Power 4, autonomous 4, really top 2 conference, you got to figure out how you're going to make this work for you. But you got to work together. Like at a certain place, you have to get over this fear of working and going across the tracks. And I'm not necessarily talking about going to Florida State. I mean, if you're going to survive this modern remaking of college football and college sports in general, you're going to have to do a better job of working with schools that are also low resource, or do a better job of working with the schools that are at the same division as you that can make business sense. Because we talk a lot about adding sports as a fan base, but we're seeing with this new legislation, nobody's adding sports. I mean, the largest of schools are making budget cuts, and we're saying that we wanting to add to the budget, and we know what's coming. You know, the next 2 years, some of y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do. I'm gonna stop. But in order for this to be a sustainable system, there's got to be a cap. Otherwise, what's going to happen is they're going to get more aggressive with the money, because the people who are the top 2 or 3 teams are just going to spend it all. And there's going to be no parity in college football. And eventually, it's going to get boring. Like, much like Major League Baseball. Like, I'm a Rays fan. I cannot stand the Yankees. But I also understand that they're going to have the best team out there. And define working. If you're a competitor, your disillusion is my game. You're not wrong. But at the same point, how many UM fans can you have? I'm not a UM fan. Never will be. It's if you're going to make it, my personal opinion, yeah. And again, this is opinion, so I'm not going to sell it as fact. I don't think the best leagues have complete pure parity. I think the best leagues have a foundational 4 to 8 teams. Like, these are the 4 to 8 teams geographically spread that people can follow. I mean, for me, that's how I see most successful sports. Even if it's baseball was at its best when you had your Atlanta was the foundation for the South. Everybody in South Atlanta, Braves fan. You had the New York Yankees. You still had the Cubs. You had the Dodgers. You had the Red Sox. That's your foundational 4 to 5 teams. Everybody else is kind of in the mix. Like, but that's what you're gonna have. Like, and Mike, that's what I said that about the NCAA. I really think the SEC and the Big Ten are done, and they're gonna take a Florida State with them. Like, you got people throwing money at the problem like that. Probably Big Ten. I said that months ago, though, almost a year ago. But the future for FCS lies with the success of HBCU and PWC Neutral Site Classics. It's the only thing that will draw any major intrigue at our level beyond our current home drum classics. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you're going to have to create something that's regional, though. Like, otherwise, this isn't going to work. It's not sustainable. Because as EA pointed out, what's going to happen is it gets to a point where you can't compete. I mean, again, go catch that NAA meeting. And somebody asked the question. And some of the people asked about the presidential candidates. And somebody asked us about reaching the status that UF, the tier that they are at. Dr. H. Oh my gosh. I can't remember his name right now. Anyways, they asked a question. And people beat around the bush, and he eventually said, no, it's not possible for FAMU to reach that level. Not immediately. You can crawl towards it, but to wake up and be that tomorrow is not going to happen because those schools have a financial advantage. He was honest. And I think there's a certain place where you can want to be all the competitor you want. You can't box with everybody, though. Your arms aren't long enough, Gunny. Isn't that what Jay-Z said? Like, our arms aren't long enough to box with UF. Our arms aren't long enough to box with UCF. Honestly, your arms aren't long enough to box with any state school that's a Division I football program. State school. I didn't say private for a reason. But any state school that has a Division I, that excludes West Florida, they're Division II. Your arms are too short to box with them. And that's just being honest. USF is building almost $2 billion football stadium on campus. And they're just taking out loans to do it. They're not even hiding the fact that they're like, we're going to go into debt to do this. Same thing with Florida State. Oh, why they got this? Why they got that? Because they're willing to go into debt for it. Like, they risking it. That renovation of Doak, where they took out 20,000 seats, they floated bonds to do that. Y'all realize that stuff go upside down? Okay. FAMU is not in a budgetary space, if we're being honest. You can look at the strategic plan. So miss me with that other stuff. We've had a strategic plan since Larry was there. Shows you where the stadium should be. Shows you where the indoor practice facilities should be. We had a whole show on it. FAMU cannot float a bond tomorrow to do that and call itself being fiduciarily responsible. And honestly, the questions are, is South Florida being responsible? West Florida's getting a new stadium too. Like, it bears the question, if we're going to be honest about this. Like, yes, there's levels to this. We now openly see it, that the top level is trying to break, feels like the top of the top are trying to break away. And they are consistently, even within their own ranks, pushing those that are not in the SEC or the Big Ten into a corner where financially they can't compete. And because not just financially they can't compete, look at the playoff system. They've set up the playoffs where those teams don't get equal share. They don't get equal space. And because the money is with them and the power is with them, meaning the SEC and the Big Ten, they're bullying them. You think they want to share with us? Just ask a look. I know Keith asks honest questions. So I think, as Mike pointed out, I think the future is in the HBCUs, because as much as folks want to talk about how much we give back and everything else, go check the attendance numbers. Who has the highest attendance in the FCS? I'll wait. Normally it's HBCUs. The SWAC normally leads in attendance. Hate to bust some bubbles, but the SWAC normally leads in attendance, and it's not because of Jackson State. Respectfully, that's not even a dig at them, because they have filling the stadium since Prime left. During the Prime era, it wasn't close. But even after Prime, because FAMU sells out darn near every game, because Alabama State has great attendance, Alabama A&M does okay. Southern does pretty solid too. You literally have about half your conference that pretty much sells out their stadiums for every game. Like the SWAC is normally top 3 up there. So you got to figure out a way to make that make business sense and find a way to be able to get players kind of like the quarterback you're getting and some of the quarterbacks you got to come and stay and be able to pay that price. Because if not, the players are going to do exactly what Cam Moore did. Like, hell, you don't set, but you look, I'm just saying, you would be surprised. Like, even at Bragg's reduced capacity of 19,000, especially at the homecoming, because it'd be like 24, 25,000 in there, even though the stadium only hold 19. Even after last season, I think we were in the top 25 for attendance at the FCS level. And I'll go out and on a short limb and say top 15. I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. How do you parlay that into money that's not just ticket sales? We got to get past the ticket sales part. Ticket sales are important, but you got to be able to make money and monetize the non-ticket sales, meaning the people like me that don't live in Tallahassee, people like you that don't live in Tallahassee, that went to school there. Maybe you're from there like me, but you left. But hey, every time they're on TV, you watching. I had Rattlers Plus. I ain't gonna lie, I got rid of that thing. They ain't put nothing new up there lately, so that was just $10 donation. Look, I told y'all I'm cutting stuff. But if we're being honest, we have to find a way to monetize our products so that when you're watching on TV, FAMU's getting a kickback. When you're doing whatever you're doing, we got to get something there, though. I ain't seen much on season tickets in a minute. You ain't wrong, though. You ain't wrong, JT. Like, I ain't seen nothing in a little minute. Right now, only thing I've seen is the OEC, and that's it. Like, they've been down to Miami like 3 times in the past month. Like, they had the impromptu press conference that nobody knew about. Then they had that thing today where they released the schedule, which is cool. And then they released the FAU stuff. So you're not wrong. Look, I'm going to wait till next week, hit AD up, see if she'll come up here to talk about these season tickets, So AD, if you're watching, expect a text. I'm gonna, see if you can come up here, talk about these season tickets. You got some flyers and stuff. Send them over. You know what the cost is. Free 99. I want what's best for FAMU. I'm like Trey Songz. I want what's best for you, not what's best for me. Not about what I want, all about what you need. I want what's best for you. All we need to do is sit the hell down long enough to draw up what we want and how we plan to pay it back, and the board will flow. Bonds will flow. You think so? I don't know, Mike. And this might just be, I might be jilted. Not jilted. I might be jilted's not the right word. Disgruntled. Not melancholy. I don't have faith in the board of trustees. There we go. That's the right way to say that. I don't have faith in them. And that's probably having to do with the presidential stuff. But when you do somebody a certain kind of way, they kind of feel that way about other stuff too. So I don't know. It's a good question though. I'll say this. To Mike's point, and certain people mentioned this when they were applying. I think if FAMU has an enrollment target of 15 to 20,000 within 4 to 5 years, that's maybe too fast. 5 to 10 years, I think the viability of building a new stadium becomes more of a rationale and a reality, because Now you have 20,000 students. And with those 20,000 students, you have student fees that you're collecting from 20,000 students. Again, FAMU hasn't grown by more than 4,000 or 5,000 in over a decade. I don't think the student fees have changed since I was in school, which has been over a decade. So you're talking the prices have gone up for everything else, but you're not taking in any more money. So at a certain point, either you got to increase your base from where you're drawing money, or you got to raise prices. I'm just saying, like, you can't have 9,000 students charge the same student fees, charge the same ticket prices, and get better stuff. It don't work like that. Like, it just doesn't. Not better new stuff. You might get old stuff from 15, 20 years ago that now the price fell down because it's not as good as the new stuff. But you're not going to get new stuff if you don't increase enrollment or increase prices. You got to do one of the two. And we know what's going on. People really don't want to raise the prices. They wanted to cut prices and cut products or cut funding and just tough it out. So it's me staying apolitical. So I don't get fussed at. So we're going to see, though. It's going to be interesting. Like I said, when it comes to college football, I'm looking for some changes. I'm wondering, I think we get a football czar. And this is where we've already heard one person's name, Nick Saban, get mentioned. I think if that happens, he's the person that's over just the FBS. So I think the other levels, he'll be like, they'll figure themselves out. They don't make enough money for it to be my problem. But I think for the FBS, that's going to be something. And I'm going to stop. So, yeah. All right, y'all. It's getting late. Today was the last day of school. Like, kids weren't there, but we had to clean out, and my brother's tired. So Sunday, we're going to see if we got a few more recruits coming in. Do a little rundown, see what we got here, and get ready. We're going to start our season breakdown. Are we going to do it this week? Is it going to be Sunday? Yeah. So Sunday, first of the month. Wake up. We're going to start our season breakdown. Way too early to tell. Talking about that FAMU game versus Albany State, right? Is that first game? No, it's Howard. So, OBC. Okay. Let's see what it's going to look like. Might see we invite some friends. All right, y'all. Start getting y'all excited, man. It's the summertime. It's a good time to have some fun and a good time to get in some good trouble. All right, y'all. For everybody at HBCU Digital Network, everybody here at the house, you and yours. Hopefully, I see you in South Florida for the OBC. And check out the Rattlers who are in Jacksonville for that track tournament. And if you are going to Florida State to support that school from Daytona, have some fun. And, I sell beer over there, so be careful. All right, y'all. Y'all know what's up when it's always going to be. Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started.
Are you kidding me? Unreal.
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Dorsey, have it!